Hey guys, it's Kevin here, and this is kind of a part two of a video I made on the weekend. I made a video talking about the challenges of teaching children in South Korea, something I did a long time ago. And this is kind of a two-parter for Joe. I know Joe is kind of focusing on young learners, but I figured what the heck, I'd throw this in as well. So I wanted to talk about the challenges that adult learners face and those who teach ESL to adult learners face. From my 1 year of experience teaching adults, I only had 1 year, 4 years of teaching kids in Korea, 1 year of teaching adults. I worked at a very large language school, probably one of the most famous in Korea, called Pagoda Foreign Language School. And I taught at one of their big branches in Shincheon in downtown Seoul by Yonsei University. And I taught there for a year. I taught quite a range of levels, but luckily I was normally teaching the more advanced levels. But yeah, so I was teaching adults in Korea. The way it worked, I believe they had 10 levels. The lowest being 1C, no 1A, and moving up to 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, 3C, and then advanced level. And I luckily mostly taught, I think the lowest I ever taught was 2A. Now, some of the struggles that adult learners face in Korea, number one, I mentioned in that previous video, there's pressure. Job pressure. If you want to get a good job in Korea, normally you have to write the TOEFL test. Even if you're working for a Korean company that doesn't deal with foreign partners, they don't, you'll never have to work abroad or use English on the job site. You're going to have to score high on the TOEFL test, often just to get your foot into the door, just to get an interview. So there's a lot of pressure that way. A lot of people who are English teachers, like Korean teachers of English working in public schools, feel so much pressure because now in the last, say, 15, 20 years, a lot of Korean children have been growing up learning English. They went to English kindergartens, they've lived abroad, they've done homestays, they've studied abroad as young children, and their English is much better than their English teachers. And the English teachers are very well aware of that, and that causes a great deal of anxiety amongst them. Yeah, so I mean, I taught a lot of students who had to take mandatory English classes. Literally, their company told them, after work, you've got to go to YBM, Pagoda, some kind of large English hagwon chain, and you have to study English. And these people would come, these businessmen, and they would have like a form that I would basically have to sign each time saying that they did indeed attend a class. So again, those are some of the challenges that they face. Yeah, also, I mean, the same challenges that Japanese language learners have. Although it seems like there are a lot of foreigners in a place like Korea teaching English, they're really, compared to like the Korean population, there's not many foreigners. And they say use it or lose it, right? If you want to improve on a language, you need to use it every day. So someone like me, living in Japan as a foreigner, I'm surrounded by Japanese people every day, most of who can't speak English. So if I want to practice my Japanese, I have that ability. I can just go somewhere and use it. Go to a restaurant, go to an izakaya, somewhere and speak to a shop clerk. It usually scares them though. Koreans living in Korea, Japanese living in Japan, they don't have that opportunity. They don't meet foreigners very often. So they don't get the opportunity to interact with a native English speaker very often. So that's a challenge they face. Now, as a teacher, teaching adults in Korea, there's a few challenges that you're going to face. First of all, I mentioned earlier in the previous video, a lot of the people who come to Korea and end up teaching adults are in the same boat as those who come to teach children. They don't have any experience. So you don't know how to teach. No idea how to teach. When I worked at Pagoda, I didn't get any training. I don't know what it's like now, but I didn't get any training. I had 2 years of experience under my belt teaching kids, so I did know a little bit of what I was doing. There's a challenge. Next challenge. There is that societal pressure on the students to do well, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on you as a teacher to level them up each month. So each month they take a class. And even if they don't fit the criteria, even if there's not a snowball's chance in hell that they should level up at the end of the month, they're going to put pressure on you. And there goes my bicycle, guys. My bicycle just fell over. Yeah, that's my bicycle. So let's make this. Let's make this a bit entertaining for you guys. I'm going to put this down, and you can watch me upright my bicycle. I hope I didn't crush my basket. I think I crushed my basket. Yeah. My basket's crushed. this up against the bench I was sitting on. Okay. All right. Okay, so back to back to talking about the pressures and stuff. You're gonna have a lot of pressure. I literally had students come and argue with me, like literally argue. We also had a policy about attendance, whereas if you miss a certain number of classes, you just automatically failed. And I had a student where that happened, and she literally came into the staff room, followed me into the staff room, yelling at me, demanding that I level her up. And I was just like, no way, no way. Oh crap, my basket broke. Sorry. Yeah. Oh well. My mommy bike. My basket broke. What are some other challenges you face? It's often a popularity contest when you're teaching adults, and I hate to say it, but it's true. And often, if you have young women in your class, university age women or young single business women, often there's a lot of them, they want to date foreign guys, and if you're not young, they might not be happy about that. If you don't fit their ideal, what they're looking for in appearance, you know, that might not go over so well with them. And where I worked at Pagoda, every month the students actually had to fill out like a survey about their teacher. It was essentially like a popularity contest, and the survey actually had an effect on your pay. So if you scored high in the rankings among Pagoda teachers, you could get a pay raise, a quarterly pay raise. If you didn't score high, you wouldn't get the pay raise. And what was frustrating often was the teachers who might not have been good teachers, but they were popular guys, would get high scores. There were some guys who would go drinking with their students after school almost every night. And those teachers would get high scores. There were teachers who would flirt a lot with their female students. They would get high scores. If you just worked your butt off and put together really great lessons and taught well, you might not get, you probably won't get scored as high as them if you're not playing the game. So you got to learn there's a bit of a game to it. I hate to say it, but it's true. Another challenge you're going to face if you're a male or female teacher, if you're a male teacher, young male teacher, I was in my mid-20s, you're going to have female students coming on to you. It's just a reality. If you're a female teacher, you're probably going to have male students come on to you because you're a foreigner, you're a novelty. Now there's something you probably would never think of or expect coming to teach, but it is a reality. And that can make for very uncomfortable situations sometimes. I've had female students flirt with me in front of an entire class, and everyone knew what was going on, and it was very awkward for everyone involved. Now, some of the great benefit, I mean, like, teaching kids is wonderful. I love that because kids are always happy and they love to learn, usually. But what I did, one thing I'll always say is that my 1 year teaching adults in Korea, I learned more about Korea than I did in the other 4 years I was there. Because my students were able to teach me about the culture, their ideas, their thoughts, what they thought about different things. I went places, I socialized with them. It was great. It was a wonderful learning experience in that regard. I'm really glad I had that experience, but my 1 year teaching adults really showed me that I'm more designed to teach children. I just enjoy it more and I get a lot more satisfaction out of it. But yeah, there you go. So, Joe, for your project, I don't know if you can use that for your ESL project in university, but I hope it helps. And for those of you out there who are not Joe, I hope you take something from this if you're ever thinking of becoming a teacher. And, you know, there's always advice like that on the podcast, guys. Go check the link below, Just Japan Podcast. Even though I was talking about Korea, go check out my podcast. It's doing well, it's growing, it's growing. All the links are below. Now on SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes. You can find us anywhere. Just Japan Podcast, links are below.